أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم ما شاء الله لا حول ولا قوة إلا بالله العظيم الصلاة والسلام عليك يا سيدي يا رسول الله الصلاة والسلام عليك وعليك وعلى أصحابك أجمعين الصلاة والسلام عليكم يا أنبياء الله. After something from our Lord, Allah Almighty, God Almighty, that will make Him happy with us, pleased with us. The Prophet used to say, "Ilahi anta maqsoodi, wa ridaka mahlubi." You are my target, and your pleasure is what I'm seeking. We're asking through this meeting to make Allah happy with us, first of all, and to grant us something we can use to improve along our lives. It doesn't benefit a person to read so many books or to know so many facts if they couldn't take benefit from those things. So we're asking something, a small kernel, we can keep it with us in our hearts and use it when we need it. And I'm asking my Shaykh, Shaykh Nazim, and Shaykh Hisham, who did his best with me always, to look after our meeting and grant us something from blessings. The organizer of the conference told me to speak about justice and peace, how Prophet ﷺ, peace be upon him, he established justice first and then followed by peace. So we have to ask, what's that justice? Holy Quran says, for the outer workings of this world, they know that. But for Akhirah, the afterlife or the inner side of things, we're ignorant of that. Justice is something that comes to a person from his Lord. It's a grant. And peace is a grant, a favor from Allah Almighty. Justice means, first, to keep the boundary that Allah Almighty put between His absolute lordship on one side and our absolute servanthood on the other side. We're creatures, helpless creatures. We didn't create ourselves, and we can't keep ourselves in existence also. No one can keep himself or herself in existence even for the smallest point of time that people can measure. Adil samawati wal ard. Allah He created His creation, and He's keeping His creation in existence. Always new, every moment, every second, never any 2 seconds is like the one before it. And as our reciter was reciting from Surah Rahman, فَاسْتَعِذْ بِاللَّهِ كُلْ يَوْمِ هُوَ فِي شَانٍ. Every day, it means every instant, because what's a day to Allah Almighty? The sun, one turning of the earth? Allah's days means continuous, no limit, in greatness or in smallness, to measure Allah's time. Every day, Allah is on a different task. It means every instant, every second, His task is creation. He's doing it new, every time. Filled with creatures, creations, new creations coming always. Similar, but different. And justice that Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he brought and established first for servants to recognize their absolute servanthood and poverty in every moment. When a servant understands that he or she is a servant, he or she should, or her behavior should change to be perfectly just for that moment and suitable. There was a story that Mawlana Shaykh Nazim used to say, and because I'm not a scholar, I don't say where is the Adil for this story, where is the hadith. It's for learning something. You know about Sayyidina Khidr. There is in the Islamic tradition the green man, Sayyidina Khidr alayhi salam. He's somebody, one of Allah's special servants, an unusual servant. Some say he's a prophet, some say he's a wali, saint. He's been on this earth for a long time, and he's going to be on this earth as long as Allah wants. And he has some unusual characteristics with him. Sayyidina Musa, Moses, when he wanted to know the higher knowledge, after he reached Moses is the example, the limit of Sharia, the law for governing how society functions, how people function, how to do everything. But he wants to know more. He said, there's a law, there's a knowledge beyond this knowledge, and he said, I'm not going to stop until I get that knowledge. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, glory to him, he inspired Musa alayhi salam, that knowledge you want is with Khidr alayhi salam, that servant. Go to him and take from him that knowledge. And he met Khidr alayhi salam. Innama amalu binniyat, said Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Your actions are weighed or judged, or your result will be according to your intentions. Moses, his intention, Sayyidina Musa, his intention was true, to get that knowledge. He met Khidr and said, please accept me to be your murid, disciple, or pupil, more than pupil. Murid is more than pupil. Pupil comes for 1 hour, checks the clock, and boom. All pupils comes in. Murid never leaves class. Class is going always, never stops. And Sayyidina Khidr, alayhi salam, he said, oh Musa, the knowledge that you, I'm paraphrasing from Holy Quran, the knowledge you're asking is not an ordinary knowledge. It has some conditions to get that knowledge. You have to follow me, accompany me, and once you agree to be my student, whatever you see after that, keep quiet. Once you sign the contract, finish. Sure. You can't say anything. You might see something you didn't understand it, because you're asking what you don't know. What you know it. You're asking what you don't know. You're at your limit. You won't be able to understand. You be patient. Don't say anything. And Musa said, Tajiduni, inshallah you will find me patient. Inshallah. Inshallah you will find me patient. Ibn Arabi said, Allah bless him, if he had said it, you will find me patient, inshallah, it would have worked. Because he said, inshallah you will find me patient. And he couldn't be patient. He experienced some things at the hands of Sayyidina Khidr alayhi salam that he couldn't carry. He couldn't do it. He couldn't accept it. After the time of Musa, there was a man that he was a good and pious person, and he wants to. There's a point for this story. Always they give me a card in his talks, because Shaykh Hashem, he put me with sheep for 10 years, raising sheep. He said every prophet looked after sheep. I didn't know anything from sheep. I was from the city. So the sheep, they graze a little bit here, they graze a little bit there, and I became like them. So there was a good person, a pious person, and he wants to do justice. He wants to help society to take away the sufferings of people. When they say social justice, it means to take away the sufferings of people. To take away poverty, to take away despair, to take away depression, to take away everything that people fall into that causes them to suffer. And he heard that the green man, Sayyidina Khidr alayhi salam, one of the specialties he had was a pot of gold, that as much as you take from it, it's never going to become empty. An endless gold coin. And he said, I want to find Sayyidina Khidr alayhi salam, and I'm going to get from him that pot of gold, and I'm going to go and take away poverty. I'm going to give to all the poor people. No one's going to suffer anymore. Everything is going to be in a good condition. I want to take away troubles from people. And he was true. He was sincere in that. There are many people, they're sincere. They want to eliminate sufferings. They want to help people. And because his intention was true, one day he met someone who said to him, I'm that one you were looking for. I'm Sayyidina Khidr alayhi salam. How can I help you? I'm Sayyidina Khidr. What can I do for you? Oh Khidr, I heard you have with you a pot of gold that never comes empty. I want to take that from you to give to people to take away their sufferings and make perfect justice and peace in this world. And Khidr said, yes, that's true. My Lord ordered me to come to you today, and I'm going to give you what you're asking. But first, before fulfilling your request, it's sunnah I have to do something from my side. As Sayyidina Yusuf in the prison, his fellow prisoners came to him to tell him their dreams. He said, I'll tell you your dreams, but first, and he has something he wants to give them from his side first. So Sayyidina Khidr, he said to him, come with me, we'll go to the town, to the village. And they went, and they're looking at the people. It's before the days before cars and trucks. It's horses and buggies, and people are coming, going, loading things, unloading, going in, coming out, doing what people do. And Sayyidina Khidr, he said, these the people you want to help to take away their sufferings? He said, yes, these ones. He said, okay, before I give you this pot of gold, here I want to give you from me something. He took his turban, and this was the sunnah of all prophets, to wear the amama and saints. He took that turban, he put on that man's head. When that turban came on that man's head, his vision changed. It changed. Instead of seeing, as we're seeing, everything normal, people coming, going, doing what people do. He was seeing a swarm, like a hive or a nest of creatures. Their bodies was human, but one had the head of a goat, one has the head of a snake, one has the head of a scorpion, one has the head of a fox, one has the head of an ox, different animal shapes, and swarming over each other. Shaykh Hashem said to me, you take a lesson from animals. He said to him, these are the ones you want to help? And that man, he can't speak, he's looking at this, he wasn't expecting that. He said, what you're seeing is these people as they are on the inside. From outside they're human beings in human shape. From inside, this is their egos. They're nafs. This is their egos. Allah says, outward looking you know it. From the inward side you are ignorant of that. This is their real shapes. Because they never tried along their lives to train themselves to take away that bad ego. From the time they were small children, they learned how to be foxes and scorpions and lions and snakes and goats and what you want to do with that money? You think a gold coin is going to help a goat? You can eat it. You can't eat it, he spits it. A snake? A bear? Take this for yourself. He gave him that pile of gold coins. Take this for you and leave them. Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, Sayyidina Muhammad, salatu wassalamu alayhi, he came to complete the mission of 124,000 prophets, Anbiya, alayhi salam. Peace be upon all of them, starting with our grandfather Adam, peace be upon him, Abraham, Noah, Musa, and Jesus Christ, and Isa, all of the 124,000, to teach people how to struggle and fight, to do jihad on their egos, to reach to real servanthood, to reach to real justice. When they reach to their real situation, then is going to be justice. I was with Mawlana Shaykh Nazim, Allah bless him, one time in London, and there came to him one of the most famous peace activists in this world. That was in the 1980s. He was very, very famous. He had a big hand in ending the Vietnam War. He was very famous everywhere, household name at that time. And he asked Shaykh Nazim, I heard about you, you're a big saint, please pray for me to be successful. We want to establish peace in this world. And Mawlana Shaykh Nazim, Allah bless him, he said, when people are going to be peaceful, you're going to find peace. And until people are going to train themselves, following the training brought by 124,000 prophets, and then by the seal of prophets, Sayyidina Muhammad, when they're going to train themselves under a trainer to take away their ego and reach to their real situation as real human beings, they're going to become peaceful and just people. Without that, they're never going to reach. They're going to be under the control of their ego. They're going to be under the control of their mental productions. Allah sent religions from heaven, filled with justice. But ego never accepts. The history of mankind is egos coming to their prophets and saying, no, we don't like it. 124,000 they came. Noah and Shu'aib and Hud and Salih alayhi salam and Ibrahim, all of them had one thing in common: their people fought them. Very few people followed them. No one listened to them. No one cared about them. They did their worst for them. They came to do their best for humanity. Humanity did their worst for them and ran from them as fast as possible to every other thing they could think of. This Western world is a flight from Sayyidina Musa and Sayyidina Isa and Sayyidina Muhammad, what they brought, mankind running as fast as possible to be busy with everything else. And they built this, what is happening now. As a result, every night on the news you're seeing more chaos, more problems, no one can solve it, growing up every day, everyone trying to find a solution, and no one is saying, oh people, come back to your original size, come back to yourself, fight your egos, not to fight each other. Try to reach your real humanity before you go from this life. You're going to be here a few years, you're not going to take anything from this life. Reach your real humanity. You're created for that. وَمَا خَلَقْتُ الْجِنَّ وَالْإِنسَ إِلَّا لِيَعْبُدُونَ. I didn't create you, all people and jinns, except to know me, to love me, to serve me, to worship me. It means to know me and to know yourself. The Prophet said, who knows himself knows his Lord. It means you know your limit. The minimum meaning of that. His hadith has endless meanings, mystic meanings, never mind. The minimum meaning to know Lord is Lord and servant is servant. But we didn't try that. And he said, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, that, I'll make it very short, the children of Israel are going to separate into 70 groups, for instance, and the followers of Jesus Christ, Sayyidina Isa, are going to separate into 71, for instance, and my nation into 72. All of them running. Running from training. Running from ego never likes to follow what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, God Almighty, ordered for us. Never likes it. Prophets came with Allah's way, with God's way, and egos never accept. When egos are going to, when our souls are going to come under the control of our egos are going to come under our soul's control, we should find peace on earth. If egos are in control, there's never going to be peace, no matter what kind of system they try to invent, or what kind of, they want to manage everything. As much as human beings construct systems, it's nothing. They never estimate anything what Allah constructed. They never encompass what He did. Surrender, every prophet says, surrender to your Lord, find peace. I'm saying this speech to my ego tonight. Shaykh Hisham sent me once, he said, now you have to go and speak to people, but first you go, he sent me to a place, you take your turban, you put it on your knee, and you speak, lecture to it. He sent me to a place to sit there 1 year, or 6 months, to try it. He said, if your turban will listen to you, then you can speak. He never listened to us. So I'm saying this to myself, this talk. Sayyidina Ali, Allah bless him. Allah blesses him. Blesses and graces his holy countenance. He said to the people one time, all this is for the Muslims, all this Quran and Hadith only gives pain to the heart. And it's a shock when Quran and Hadith gives pain. But they know he's saying now it has to be something. He said, without the secret ingredient, all your people will be frustrated, you can't get anything from it. Waqafatullah. Fear of Allah, justice, to put everything in its place. To put Lord on the station of lordhood and servant on the station of servanthood, you'll never get anything from him. You can recite from morning up till night. And Prophet said there's going to come a time people are reciting Quran and their hearts is like dragons. No, where this faith doesn't reach their throats? What's the value to recite and then to go and kill people, to do things no human being can think to do it before? How? This, we're sorry to say, this is the situation. And he said, the last days are going to be like this. He said, when you find yourself, when you find yourself under these conditions we live in now, this fitna, everywhere killing, killing, killing. He used the word harj. It means killing to the point where the one who kills doesn't know why he killed anymore, and the one who was killed doesn't know why he was killed. And we reached that. And I was looking in a book also, Imam Wahidi, Asbab al-Nuzul. He gave a meaning for that word harj. It means also to be thrown, it's an Abyssinian word, also means to be thrown among strangers, where you don't know anyone. Everyone's stranger to the other. It's our modern world. No one knows their neighbor, no one knows, everyone is a no concern. You pass them on the highway, they live, they die, no one cares. We live now in those times. He said when you get to those times, Prophet Rasulullah, look after yourself. Look after your heart. Retreat to your Lord. If you have a bow, break it. If you have a sword, break it. It means the bow and sword are ego's bad characteristics. Break your anger, break your hatred, break your revenge seeking and bad thoughts for others. Run away from zan, from suspicion. Everyone following conspiracy theories now. You get into the cab, every cab driver knows every secret of the CIA from first to last. How? You know, he's in his cab. They're briefing him. Everyone following nonsense. Things we don't know anything about it, everyone's and talks for hours on it. I'm advising myself, I'm the first and worst one for that. He said, don't go into that fitna, look after your heart, look after to control your ego, make your anger down, make your greed down, make your pride down, make your jealousy down. Try to put your heart to your Lord and to reach to real servanthood. May Allah grant us the blessings of this night. I'm sorry I've talked too long. And fill our hearts with His love, with himmah, enough power to move on the right way, and grant us to find some holy persons that can guide us on the right way. They can teach us and help us to reach our real humanity. Bi hurmat al-Habib, bi hurmat al-Fatih. Ameen. I wanted to do a little bit of Mawlid, but we'll wait till after, I think. Not to, because it's not, our speaker is waiting, our Imam is waiting to speak. If there's time after, we'll do it.